I'm with the International Trade and Investment Attraction Division at the Ministry. And like our name says, we do international trade and investment. So we have a group that does investment attraction that works with large investors from around the world, and sometimes small investors from around the world that come and do business here in British Columbia. My team does export development, and we're fairly new at that. But we have a couple of parts to our ministry that I think you may find very helpful if you're interested in international trade. We have our International Market Development Branch, and we have 11 trade offices internationally and 62 international trade representatives. We have 25 representatives for the province of British Columbia in China. 10 in Beijing, 7 in Shanghai, 5 in Guangzhou, and 3 in Hong Kong. We have 13 in India in 3 different offices. We have 7 in Seoul, Korea. We have 5 in Tokyo. We have 7 across Europe, and we have 4 in the US, all in California. We're very focused, obviously, on the Asia-Pacific markets and trying to develop new markets for British Columbia companies. And we also have country teams in Vancouver that look after our international trade reps. So we have quite an extensive international team that's there to help British Columbia businesses overseas. The Economic Development Branch, my team is focused on high-priority export sectors. So we have folks who are working on the agriculture sector, working with exporters in agriculture, on technology, on aerospace, marine and defense, on clean technology, and on resource industries. And I'll take the opportunity to introduce Tuan Bui, who's our, you want to stand up for a second, Tuan, so people know it? Tuan is responsible for the resource industries. He's a senior manager there. He looks after mining, forestry, and LNG. Thanks, Tuan. So if you do nothing else tonight, if you're interested in exporting and if you're in the natural resources sector, come and see Tuan. Give him your card. He'll follow up with you. We love to help companies export commodities, but most commodities don't really need a lot of help being exported. So we're primarily focused on the service and supply sector. So whether you have goods or services, if you're suppliers into a natural resources industry, we'd like to try to help you get into new markets, if that's the US, if that's China, perhaps it's India or Korea or Europe, where we have our trade reps. So, when should you call on us and take advantage of these resources? Well, first, I think anytime. Call on Tuan or me anytime you have a question and you think that we can help you in an international market. We're happy to have the conversation. We're here to help BC companies. Secondly, you can call on us when you have an issue in the market. If you're having difficulty, you're looking, identifying a distributor or a trade partner, maybe you're having trouble getting goods in and out across the borders, maybe there's some sort of a transportation issue, give us a call. Maybe the folks that we have in market can help you out. But most of all, we'd like you to call us when you feel that you have the capacity and the ability to export to international markets. We don't do a lot of sort of basic developmental export work. We work with companies that are export ready or nearly export ready to try and help you understand those markets and to get into those markets. We did a little bit of research last year in 2011. There are 6,042 goods exporters that show up in Statistics Canada as being British Columbia exporters. 6,000, that's not very many companies. It's 1.6% of all registered businesses that export. And I thought that couldn't possibly be right, but it is right. The thing it doesn't count, though, is services exporters. And we know a lot of people are in the services business. Those stats aren't kept very well. But of those exporters, 84% were small and medium-sized companies, so 50 employees or less. and 44% exported to the U.S. only. So 56% exported outside and beyond the U.S. So we don't have a lot of companies in British Columbia that are exporting into international markets. And we would love to help you to be one of those companies that does export into international markets. So we want to see those things increase, and we want to see you do better. Now, if you are learning about exporting and you want some good resources, go to Small Business BC. They have a website called tradestart.ca. That is a fantastic place where you can figure out where you are in the exporting world and find the resources that you need. Of course, initiatives will help you up here in Prince George. That is a very good website, though. In terms of the services that we can offer as a provincial government for those of you who are interested in international marketing, first of all, personal attention. The job of Tuan and his colleagues who do export development is to come and meet with companies, to visit you, to see what you're doing, to talk to you about what you're doing in terms of export markets, what your strategy is, what you'd like to do, and where you're having issues, and what kinds of things you need to be able to get into the markets. So call on us to do that. We also provide some market information. If you go on to our website, and our website name's not nearly as long as our ministry name, it's just britishcolumbia.ca. If you go to britishcolumbia.ca, we have some market information there. If you register for our BC Business Network, which, yes, it's yet another database, we will send you international market news once a month. We will talk to IPG and to the trust about maybe coordinating databases so that we're not going to make you enter data into 3 different databases in 3 different times. But we do have that information, and if we don't have it, we can help you to find it because the federal government has a lot of it as well. And then we have in-market support in those locations that I talked to you about. One of the biggest issues for companies that are exporting, doing international business, is identifying trusted partners, identifying people that are quality people that you can do business with in a market. And our international trade reps can help to vet those people. They can help you to identify, and they can even make introductions if you're clear about who you want to meet, what types of companies you want to meet in what markets. That is an extremely valuable service that they can provide. Also, if you're traveling in market, they're happy to meet with you. They may set up an itinerary for you if you can tell them exactly what you're looking for. They'll also do problem solving for you in market. They do want to make sure that people understand they're not your marketing department, but they will help you to get into those markets and open doors. We also do quite a number of events and missions, both in British Columbia and outside of the province. And just in the mining sector, for example, we'll be doing China mining probably for, I think, the 4th time coming up in November. It's quite an excellent mining conference in China. It has in the past for us been investment focused, so trying to attract Chinese investors to invest in the mining industry here in British Columbia. This year we're looking at also making it trade focused, so both investment and trade. So looking at companies in the service and supply industry who want to participate in a bit of a trade promotion at China Mining. Usually what we'll do is we'll pay for the booth, we'll organize the logistics. Companies will have to pay their own way to come over, but you don't have to pay for the booth and the participation. Typically we tie that together with a 2 or 3 day program outside of the mining conference to go and do some site visits or some specific networking in China. Last year, we had a look at the Mining Expo in Las Vegas. There were about 40 British Columbia supply companies down there. We're looking at doing that conference again this year. I don't know if we'll have a British Columbia presence there. We may, if there's enough interest and demand. For the agriculture industry, we did Boston Seafood this year, and we coordinated a British Columbia presence where we had I think about 800 square feet of space. We branded it British Columbia. Companies came in and kind of hung up their shingles and worked out of that booth. We had a meeting room upstairs where companies could go off for private meetings. We set up one-to-one meetings with buyers in advance for BC companies. And basically just supported about, I think there was 12 to 14 British Columbia companies that went to that conference. We could potentially do the same thing for you at China Mining or at the Mining Expo in Las Vegas. We're also looking at PDAC, the Prospectors and Developers Conference in Toronto, which is the Canadian largest show in the mining sector. Normally, our Energy and Mines Ministry goes there and promotes British Columbia for investment. We have the possibility of expanding that presence at PDAC this year and doing a supplier piece for British Columbia suppliers. So if you're interested in PDAC as well, let me know or let Tuan know. Also, we're very interested in partnering and looking at other programs and events. So if there's an industry group that wants to get together and make some recommendations, we also usually and often partner with economic development agencies like Initiatives Prince George around specific programming. So if they want to do something specific around mining, around natural resources in an international market, we'll either help them or we'll partner up with them to do that. So those are the primary services that we offer. There certainly are more. One thing I will say is that there's lots of opportunity for companies, especially small and medium-sized companies, to waste their money on international events and get no results. And we'd really like to try and avoid that. If you're going to do something like that, please do some work in advance, set some expectations. If you're just going to go and have a look and feel the market out, that's great. We don't have a problem with that. If you expect to go into market and come back after one show with trusted partners, you better do the work in advance. You better identify some people. You better start the relationship. You better get our guys to start helping you to do some vetting so that when you go there, you're going over to basically to close a deal rather than just start one. A lot of markets take a great deal of commitment in terms of time, market knowledge. You also need to be able to understand the buyers and partners and their motivations. Why are they interested in what you have? And also your product or your service has to fit the market. That's an issue we have a lot with people who are trying to do business in India. There's a lot of talk about India pricing. India is very price sensitive. And most of the things that we have here in British Columbia, you can't sell in India. However, a lot of our companies have found that India doesn't need the full version of the things that we usually sell. If you think about the Tata Nano car, if you've heard of it, this is the world's cheapest car. What does it sell for? About $1,000. You would never be able to sell it here because of our safety standards. But the reality is, it's perfect for the India market. It's small, it's basically stripped out, and it's very cheap, and it's a great way, instead of a scooter, to get your family around. And it's built for that market, and it's a perfect thing for that market. And it's the same thing here. We often like lots of extras on our products and on our goods and on our services. If you're going to the India market, down to the bare bones and price it on the bare bones, and you've got a chance. So it's really about understanding the market and the motivations and what's of interest to them. It may not be what fits here in Canada or what you can sell in the US that sells well in Korea or in China or in India. You really need to understand that market. So my point there is spend the time to understand the market if you want to make a commitment to that market and if you want to be in that market. It's okay to go have a look, figure it out, start your research. There's a lot of really good steps along the way to take. And people are here to help you. We're here to help you. Initiatives Prince George is here to help you. And the federal government through the Department of Federal International Trade is there to help you as well. Just to wrap up, because really I just wanted to give you a few resources here. a couple of recommendations, actually 6. One, join our BC Business Network. Give us your card, give me your card, give Tuan your card. We'll send you some information. If you're on one of the other databases, we'll make sure you don't have to enter the information twice. We'll sort it out. It's free, and it's high value. You'll get invited to events. Often we have international delegations visiting. They may be interested in what you sell. It would be great if we could invite you to participate in those international delegations or put your profiles in front of them to see if they want to talk to you about what you're doing. Visit our website, britishcolumbia.ca, where we have our trade and investment information. Also the link to the BC Business Network. Visit Small Business BC's tradestart.ca website. It truly is really good information. I know because my team had a lot to do with putting the content together, so it's got to be good. Visit the federal government's Trade Commissioner Service website. The Trade Commissioner Service is fantastic. They operate all around the world. We operate in selected markets. If you're trying to do business in Latin America, the province is not there. We have no reps in Latin America. The Trade Commissioner Service is extremely helpful. We do work with them in our markets very closely, and they have reps in Vancouver, and my team works very closely with them too. If you want to do exporting, connect with your local economic development office, Initiatives Prince George here. They do a lot of outreach. They've been into China I don't know how many times, and international markets. They have sister city relationships. They do missions and programs. As IPG is one of the best economic development organizations in this country, so take advantage of that. And like I said before, talk to Tuan. That's mine. You can talk to me, but if you want somebody who knows something about natural resources, talk to Tuan. Okay, thank you very much.